All right, Grings. Somebody's doing something over there. All right. I'll put the background up, but I'm too tired to do it. All right. So I'm on day number 2 for jury duty. It's kind of screwed up my whole weekend or week for my availability. It's kind of screwed up a lot of things. I'm freaking beat. So, yeah. One thing about doing jury duty is learning to care. And they talk about stuff that you don't care about. You already kind of get the outcome energy of it, but it's still very difficult and draining, and it sucks. I feel like I'm there as like a mission, I feel like I'm the person that's being sued. I feel like I'm protecting them from being screwed over. So yeah, because the person that's trying to take advantage of them and everything. So it's kind of. I think I mentioned this the other. I was picked before I was picked. I think I was already chosen. So to do that, I mean, obviously on an astral level, but on a physical level, yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I'm really worn out, and I'll do the best we can to get through this. So, going to the whatever his name is, will punch your face out, Smith. Eventually, it'll be Dave Chappelle soon. We'll just talk and act differently, and well, great. Yeah, so the Clone Awards is basically the Oscars, which is pretty much just a bunch of superficial clones hanging out with each other. Don't really. So it's like they should give the awards to the best clone. Maybe they do. We don't know about it. I'm not sure if that timeline's ever going to really start showing itself, but probably not. One day it will. Maybe a couple of thousand years in the future, we'll start to figure this all out. And the moon, this is actually. Geez. Clear my throat. What are you doing? They're in the background. They're there. You can't see them, but they're there. The moon, it's actually a movie, and it's about cloning also. I watched some of it. I fell asleep during it, but it's about an astronaut that's on the moon, and there's a bunch of clones of him. Let's put it that way. Without spoiling everything, I pretty much spoiled it, but who cares? It's still it still has a lot to it. It's pretty messed up actually. And the Foo Fighters drummer, Taylor Hawkins. Yeah, I'm not going to channel that energy. I don't want to do that, but clear my throat. He's yeah, I think he overdosed, I believe. But yeah, these, I know it's controversial and all that, but some souls, you know, they go into those lower realms, because for some that's where they live. Not to say that he lives there, but some like mention names, but some that like they commit suicide and they come back as a spiritual being, a spiritual helper. They say they're in the higher realms, but are they? You can still be in the demonic realms and tell everybody you're positive. And, you can still be a demonic being and help people. Let's put it that way. Not to say the drummer is a demonic being, but some demonic beings are actually helping humanity, but people aren't ready to realize it. But for the Foo Fighters drummer, he went to where he wanted to go. That's what it seems like. I don't think that was on accident either. It's just, it's just, when you're doing that type of music, which I don't know a lot about it, there's a lot to learn in that realm. So you just send love to it. That's why you have loved ones that don't want to do that. that won't ever do that. That's why the son love to keep him from falling deeper into lower dimensions and becoming a demonic being and trying to possess people and things like that. So it's complicated. So I'm not going to channel his energies, but I can connect to it in some form or another. So yeah. So yeah, when I channel these beings, they don't go into like what kind of cars they drive and clothes. I know people are real excited about all that stuff. Usually just goes in emotional energies and just it's more of the astral, but many people here don't understand what the hell that even means. So whatever. They want to know what kind of pictures on the wall, what was their favorite toothpaste, whatever, and they need some kind of validation because they're insecure about the connection because they're not really ready to connect to that vibration. I mean, they're not that well, they don't trust it, but their trust would help. But their senses aren't quite there to pick up on the vibration that is them. But whatever, it's complicated. Don't worry, we have a long ways to go for a lot of things, apparently. How about everything? As I told I call my private sessions, we have a scheduler. We have the shop here. I don't know where I'm at. I'm somewhere here. I don't remember. I'm here, there. It's a webinar tomorrow, social network, or behind the scenes. Yeah, this whole jury duty thing has really screwed me up. And it might go next week. I'm already getting screwed by it already. I don't know yet. We'll find out. Because they're not really, it's supposed to take a week, but they're not really getting anywhere. So, great. Looking forward to it. And yeah, so it might be 2 weeks of a screw job. I'm getting hosed pretty hard as it is, and it's not good. So again, I might know by tomorrow. I'll definitely know by Friday if this is going to go another week or not. Jeez. So I would, being chosen for jury duty. It's like sometimes you're just right for the job. Yeah. So Will Smith and his clone friends, Will Smith is going into boxing apparently. So yeah, his the superficial clone awards that are, I can tap into. I'll bring in energy for that. It's just a fucking BS around there. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. I forgot about before I go into that. Yeah. So there's the Foo Fighters. Yeah, I believe he overdosed. I don't think he tried to commit suicide. No, I'm not surprised. He's a feline being, and he's just not ready to heal his darkness yet. So obviously, all these people giving him prayers is helping him out greatly. Like I said, it's keeping him from going deeper into the lower realms where, it just turns into a demonic being, basically. And Moon is obviously not for everybody, but it's got cloning written all over it. You can say it's telling us something. Probably. Now, if they make a movie about clones, the Clone Awards, how do you know they're not the Clone Awards? I mean, how do you know it's not for the best clone? I mean, of course, people are not going to believe that, but when you look at it and you feel the energies that are here, and it's all fakery, with the people, at least in the looks and everything. I don't know. Not everybody there's a clone, though. I mean, there's different versions of a clone. There's like the Dave Chappelle clone, and there's others that are cloned just in case something happens to them or something like that. That sounds a little weird there, but kind of like a Hillary Clinton clone, like she gets sick and all that, so they replace her with somebody else. I don't know how the hell they did that. Yeah, it gets complicated there. So, all right, well, we connect to the cloning energy there. Yeah, the cloning consciousness. Of course, humanity is not right. Well, humanity is not at a level of spiritual development. It's not. I mean, it uses its senses, but it's not using it. It's shut down. So which is normal. We're not, if you got to do this, you got to do this. But, we're just more open up to your past. Easier said than done. All right, we'll go into the moon energies, the cloning. We'll go to a deeper connection to the clone energies. Yeah, get ready for that one. And in Foo Fighters, I'll tap into like an angelic energy that's connected to them. I'm not going to connect to them. So, all right, blessings. Oh yeah, one thing, I don't know if I mentioned this right. I forgot about the Foo Fighters. I think I mentioned it. Yeah, those are people that commit suicide. I think I mentioned it. I feel like I need to say it again, apparently, because I know somebody that's like that. There's somebody else. Like, all they do is commit suicide throughout their lives. Sounds weird. It's like they have a human lifetime and then they commit suicide. They have another human lifetime, then they commit suicide. They're not ready to heal that darkness within themselves. So for some, it's what is that? Hemingway, unfortunately, I think even also his granddaughter tried to commit suicide. I think she still survived it, but yeah, it's a touchy subject. But when you think about it, it makes sense. So yeah, they're just going home for some. For him, this guy, like I said earlier, yeah, he's just not ready to heal that side of himself just yet. He's not ready for the pearly gates. He's ready. He just needs to go back to the Shadowlands, you can say. All right, blessings. Greetings. We got the clone consciousness. Yes, I believe it's been mentioned many times. Yeah, there are alien species that just they clone for the sake of cloning. That's just part of their nature. Your Hollywood is done as more of a psyop, as you can see, because it has agendas. So it creates the clone to create that agenda. So that's like you see in your music industry and your Hollywood industry. Your Hollywood, of course, your music and Hollywood is pretty much the same thing. It just some use sounds, others use images. They use emotions. Of course, sound uses emotions also. Your Marshall Matter, your Eminem. Yes, he refused to be part of the manipulation. He just wanted to be himself, so they forced him out. Your Justin Bieber has always been a clone. He's like a test tube baby. He's never been himself. And others are not sophisticated enough to notice this. So why is this happening exactly? There's places in the astral realm that just have agendas, and they develop these actors in the realm base. But realize also you agree upon this to be part of your own lessons. But some of them are part of the history of it, meaning that you have an actor that looks like someone from the past. Michael Jackson is one. Michael Jackson was a deity that was framed, but also worshipped in his past. So he was basically, pretty much reincarnated again. They allow certain hints to come in, and yes, there's always going to be mysteries here. Well, because your human collective is not quite ready for what is here, it's not time for many because of their timelines that they chose. There's always going to be a mystery for all this. Your Hollywood elites, yes, most of them are. There's different versions of clones. There's a top tier clone where it's not even the person at all. Like it has the name of the person, like Justin Bieber, but it's not Justin Bieber's soul. It's other souls that are there. Of course, they all can pretty much mimic the same. They copy each other, meaning that they pretty much sounds pretty much the same, but it's not really the same thing. It gets kind of complicated. Your Hollywood elites they have a little bit more leeway. They do allow to have a personality and characteristics and all that. Oprah has been quoted many times. You notice there's a change in her. Yes, it's slowed down, but it's also seems like there's a little difference there, doesn't it? It's complicated, timeline creation. So basically, you create a celebrity, especially those that are in their public, they can shift the frequencies. So they create timelines. So you create a clone to create a timeline. Especially when it's like a big blockbuster movie and you have this kind of chiseled person, actor that doesn't even look real. I mean, why do you think they get so healthy to begin with? Of course, it's a controversial subject matter. Well, it's beyond the human understanding. It is fourth dimensional manipulation, and humans aren't ready, quite ready. So it's going to continue on until humanity starts to, find these cloning factories that are here, and find these facilities that are eventually will be found in the physical, but won't be anytime soon. So it's always going to be an astral for right now. It's always going to be in the fourth dimension until humanity shifts their frequency. And even some of these ancient places like Angkor Wat is a place of cloning at one time. Even Egypt has some cloning energies, but much of that has been removed from your planet. So a lot of the ancient Atlantean energies are part of the cloning frequency. A lot of them create actual particle, a DNA strand for cloning to occur. So, and yes, the vibrations aren't the easiest to tap into. They're not there to be tapped into. You might see the difference in the person, all of that. Yes, that person got old. That person's now different, but that person's also a clone too. Oh, that person just matured. That's all. Does a person really mature that much where it's totally different than they were in their past, such as Eddie Murphy? Well, it's just like total. It sounds like a total Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is a very that's not. It might, yes, looks like Dave Chappelle, sort of. It has the name, but I believe it was very difficult to get an accurate copy of him because he wasn't allowing it. He was fighting them. They didn't want him. He didn't want them to copy him 100%, obviously. So, the same thing with Eddie Murphy too. He's not fully copied either. So you can see the differences. So with Oprah, they just got lazy on it. So yes, it's a very complicated topic. It's done in different dimensions. Your realm is not quite ready for it, as you can see. Now you can tap into the frequencies all day long. There's nothing wrong with that. And just go by your connection to your spiritual, but it is more prominent. It's usually in your popular, your celebrity frequencies, mostly all of them. But there's different levels of it. There are certain levels where it's a clone, but still the soul. But there's other levels where it's a clone, but it's not the soul anymore. It's somebody else because of the agenda. It's an artificial intelligence. Soul is being programmed on many different levels. So this whole Will Smith frequency is, there's different ways of looking at it. You can see that even he kind of, shorted out a little bit. Like he just overreacted. But also it feels like he's wanting to dial back from that world, at least that Hollywood world energy. I'm not going to go into details of his cloning frequencies. Some of that's pretty obvious already. He's already kind of telling you through the movie he made about cloning of himself. So he's already telling you he's been cloned. He literally made a movie about it. Obviously, they're not going to go into full details of it. And he's still there to a certain level, but he has been, these celebrities get cloned and they get taken to different places. They use for psyops and use for all kinds of things, many of you know. Walt Disney's also been cloned too. You might, not physically, not going to show his energy, but he has a cloning frequency around that people can tap into. So you can tap into his clone self spiritually. So yeah, it's kind of frightening there. Blessings. Greetings. This is another version of a clone consciousness. You can call me radar. Basically, clone beings, there's many downsides to it, especially when you're being used, manufactured, like you don't matter. Now, these clone celebrities, they might seem superficial, but at least they're getting some kind of love and attention and feelings from others, even if they don't feel like they fit in, but they enjoy having the family life. But those are clones that are left alone. It's almost like he was like a robot left behind. Some of them are actually parents. Like all of a sudden, all the kids leave, and some clones don't know how to function with people. Some clones, that's our parents here, but they've been so isolated from their other lifetimes. I know it's a little complicated to accept, but some people that are born here have been clones in their previous incarnations, and they still live like with resentment. They have trouble connecting to others. It's it's like a clone star seed, you can say. It's not really like that, but it's they spend their lifetimes being cloned. Even here, they might give finally a chance to be a human, where they have their own choices and all that, but they've been cloned so many times. They're going through a withdrawal of being controlled all the time. So it's another discovery within your society. Like some of you might look like, my parents clone, or is a parent, but is that a soul that was cloned in its past? I know it's quite complicated. So some souls, yeah, they've been clones in previous lifetimes. They still have a soul. It's like they're made for certain reasons, and now they've been, you can say, created for purposes, and now they have to find their identity so they can go on from lifetime to lifetime lost, especially when they don't know who they are. I mean, not many people are talking about clone beings. You are, but you aren't. Like, you're not always realizing the clone in the family. At least the clone soul is trying to be human now. So usually clones are done, yes, for your celebrities, anything that's a celebrity nature, for various different reasons. Some that are part of the disclosure movement are, some clones fail. Like they start to, they might be real sophisticated in the beginning, but then they start to step back. And a lot of that has to do with just to get people to pull away. It's like they still like that energy of that person, but it's just like a slow, for people to withdraw from that frequency. Yeah, there's a little bit of hijacking that goes on. So there's one side that's keeping that person here for manipulation purposes, and the other side just wants people just to go and think for themselves. So the person will come up with all these crazy analogies and all of that. People's like, I'm not sure if I believe in that anymore. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, clones are very popular. And the ones that are becoming more obvious, like your president, it's another form of disclosure. It is extremely complicated because you're not really seeing the results of it. But if you feel the indication that person's a clone, that's one step you can go from. But it's a whole nother species of people that are here. They've been here for forever. A lot of kings have been cloned, and queens, and so on. Once again, you see the architecture of them being developed in astral, and you agree upon it to incarnate in some form or another, to disclose it. It's a wild experience, a wild world. Eventually, humanity will. Yeah, the energies around a clone are very difficult to tap into, meaning it feels like them as a real being, but it's like it doesn't look like them. It's like there's some indications that isn't it? A lot of CEOs or in Elon Musk clone frequencies, no doubt about it. He's trying to be there fully, but there's still something there that's just kind of off, as some of you might notice. Off there's many agendas being pushed to that person, of course, and even inventions have kind of dialed down. I mean, it could have been a lot more invention, but now it's gone backwards. Wonder why. So, but the clone soul, so you might have a brother or a sister that used to be a clone. Doesn't mean that they're a clone now, but they don't have the right terminology for it. But souls that have been cloned in their past life, and some that go through a my lab experience have used to be clones. Because you know, what if you're like Mother Teresa in another lifetime, and now you're just ordinary Joe here? Well, that's why the elite want to get some of that energy from you, that knowledge from you. You might not know who you are, but they know in some form or another. So eventually, one day, humanity will start to tap into that. What's this? Greetings. This is Archangel Michael. Blessings. Tony Hawkins. He's always been a lost soul. So he connected to your earth because of the music that you bring to your reality. So that's why he resonated with your timeline. Most likely, would never incarnate into this world. Why bother? Why should he? He does have a lot of reptilian frequencies connected to him too. He also has a lot of confidence energy he's still working on. So a lot of self-love issues, as you can see. Yes, he can be wild, exciting, dangerous, and all those things. But he still doesn't really love himself when it comes down to it. That's one of the reasons why he did what he did. It's because he knows he has a lot more to work on. So he doesn't feel like he deserves the higher realm frequencies from what I can see. So that's why he chose the direction he did. Chose to put himself back into a prison. He's not quite ready for himself at a higher level. Yeah, I feel like he resents a lot of the higher dimensional energies too. Feels like it's boring. It's not that exciting. It just doesn't really challenge him that much. He likes the daring in lifetime. I believe he wants to be a pirate in some form or another. So, but you can find that in the lower realms. You can't always find that in the higher realms. So the higher realms can only offer so much for a soul. But yes, peace and prosperity, but also boredom and uninterestedness. When you're dark, you always have some kind of darkness. You're adventurous. You're testing reality. You're testing things. You're testing people. You're testing yourself. And a higher frequency is more like a couch. You just lay down, take it easy, and fly and float and live the harmonious life. But when you're connected to the lower realms, it's a whole different story. You're deeply, deeply testing. You can test yourself in the higher realms to a certain level, but the lower realms is really when you go deep into yourself. And that's why many of you come here. It's yes, to find your shadow, to unlock your darkness and see where else your darkness goes. As painful as the darkness is, some of you are going through karma. Those are, difficult to go into. Karma is like looking in a mirror and facing yourself and all of your problems. And you see all your problems around you, especially the difficulties you brought to others. So yeah, that's all. It's karma is different for everyone individually. Yeah, you make the rules of that. It's always up to you. With this cloning frequency that is here, yes, there's many alien beings that hijacked your reality a long time ago. Some of them are Anunnaki beings. Well, the clones are like a backup. Just in case humanity destroys itself, we have some. Not that that's going to happen, but it's like preserving the knowledge of your Earth through clones. So if something did happen to your planet, everyone's been cloned to a certain level. They can put those people on another world and start again. I know it sounds a little strange with that. It's a little bit out there, but is it all that surprising? Well, it's an alien backup plan, you could say. There are realities that it does exist. So clone frequencies, a lot of that has to do with narcissists, too, especially in our Hollywood. A lot of the clones are actually to dial down the narcissism in our Hollywood. It's pretty bad there. So sometimes they have to create a clone of someone that has a lot of narcissistic energy and cool them off. So they're not as deplorable. as they once were. And of course, there are clones that are part of agendas. Yeah. The Eminem, the Marshall Matters, the musician, yeah, he got removed very quickly. Once he became popular, yeah, they can now use his name and everything. It's a reptilian being that, yes, talks fast, actually has a very open heart, but obviously it's never going to be the same again. Of course, humans here aren't quite at the level of understanding that just yet. Well, because they create their reality, so you might tap into what's really happening here, but others like, yeah, but that's not that interesting. So they shift their reality to add their own thoughts to it. And it's like, what if you find out like your parents are a reptilian being, but you don't want to believe that? It says, oh, that's just a real feisty feline being instead. So you can change your belief system. Happens all the time here. So that's why it's so difficult because you do have free will. You might not think you do, but you have free will in your belief system. You might not have free will in your timeline because your timelines are set to have a certain frequency to. But you can change your belief system to make it things a little bit more easier to live. So for Taylor, yeah, he's going through a lot. He never really, in a lot of ways, he didn't really like himself a lot. I mean, he liked the lifestyle. He didn't really enjoy himself. So he's still, trying to make peace with who he is.